As Mark Slade suggested in the preview to the Vegas Grand Prix, which we recorded yesterday, if you haven't seen that, it's on the channel. Friday, not particularly significant in terms of the overall weekend. I guess the big news is that nobody's hit the wall yet really hard. No real damage to any of the cars, but lots of delays in practice in FP1 and FP2 on Friday. FP1, a bit of a washout, metaphorically and in reality. A little bit wet right at the start. The track very green. Shouldn't read too much into that. Charles Leclerc actually quickest in that first session. And then FP2 delayed for a long time with a red loose manhole cover. Carlos Sainz, everybody beware. Very, very dangerous track hazard on a street circuit. No incidents there. The marshals, eagle-eyed marshals watching these manhole covers, saw that it was becoming loose. Practice was restarted, and then right at the end it was loose again. So another red right at the end. Various yellows as well with debris on track. So as a result, the top six that you see there, basically Lando Norris, Kimi Antonelli, Charles Leclerc, Nico Hulkenberg, and then the two Racing Bulls were the only runners that got a lap time on the soft tyre right at the end. Shouldn't read too much into any of this, although it may be significant that the only one who didn't actually go quicker of those six on the soft tyre was Charles Leclerc. He was actually a tenth slower with traffic. Lando Norris picked up 3/10 from his best on mediums. Kimi Antonelli 6/10. Nico Hulkenberg a massive 1.7, but then he was really slow on the mediums. Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson around a second a lap quicker on the soft tyres. Ferrari look quick whenever they're out there getting a free-ish lap. Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton looking strong. Very good in a straight line again. McLaren right there as well. Lando Norris looking like the driver who is flowing with the momentum at the moment, managed to thread the needle and get in that quick lap on the soft tyres. Very good on the medium tyre in FP2 as well. So McLaren strong. Oscar Piastri came up, I think, with the best radio dialogue of the day when he said, "This is going well," when the Reds came out in FP2. Max Verstappen struggling for tyre temperature as predicted in the Red Bull Honda. Nonetheless, not too far away. And I think it's fair to say that as the track picks up grip, he'll be in the game as well. Mercedes also very strong. Kimi Antonelli right up there with George Russell. Although George was very quick in his first sector before the Reds came out in FP2. Not so good in Sector 2, and then the Reds prevented his lap. So he would have been right up there with Kimi. Not too much else to report. Lots of moments. Lando Norris had a couple of straight-ons, had a couple of oversteer slides as well with the tyres not up to temperature. Although I said Oscar Piastri got the reward for the best understatement of the day, I think the award for the best message from an engineer to a driver probably all year, maybe even in perpetuity, goes to Will Joseph, Lando Norris's engineer, who says, "Lando, opportunity." This is on the radio while he's on a lap. "If there's any way to reduce your peak lateral G into turn 12 at high brake pressure, that could work." Good luck with that. I'm sure Lando knows exactly what he's talking about. Although in his own defense, Will did say, "Sorry, that was a poor message," afterwards. Not even sure what he was trying to get at there. It looks like that they're braking while they've got lateral G on the car, which they're doing in quite a lot of the corners here. Most of them are doing that. You call it turning in early, short corners, but they're all doing that. That's the line lock way of driving a lot of these braking points at Vegas. And I guess what he's saying there is try not to have a peak lateral G, but just try to spread it out a little bit more. Guess what? In the way Max Verstappen probably is doing naturally. I talked about that a little bit on the live stream on Wednesday, although this isn't a circuit where you can say, "Oh, he's turning in much earlier there." There are going to be places where Max, particularly when he's braking with the car generating lateral load, he's going to be trading that off really nicely. And I think that's what they were kind of getting at with Lando. And the way Lando is at the moment, the way things are going for him and the way his brain is working, I'm sure he is responding to that. So in a way, full marks to McLaren for pushing him that hard in that very esoteric area. Other than that, as I say, roll on the weekend. I think all the drivers are saying, let's see where we go on Saturday and then Sunday. Track temperature is really cold, 16 degrees, 14 ambient, not much wind, and Vegas looking great under lights superficially. But the circuit, again, just a reminder of how much time they spend on full throttle there. And right at the end, not on a quick lap, just sort of doing the last couple of laps after the red had finished. Charles Leclerc stopped out on the circuit with a gearbox problem, but this is only a Friday, as I say, so we shouldn't read too much into it. So roll on the weekend and we'll see what happens there. Big thanks to Jetcraft, to OEM Exclusive, to Track Ninja, and to REC Watches. See you tomorrow.